I call Jonathan Young.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and Happy New Year. Welcome back to the House. Sir, I'm very pleased to stand in support of the Prime Minister's statement and support the confidence that this side of the House has in his leadership and also where he is taking this country. I just want to comment on some of the statements that one of my fellow members of the House, Eugenie Sage, made, I think which would demonstrate perhaps why New Zealand, though holding the issues of the environment as a very high value, also trusts our government in terms of its development of our resources. She raised the issue of Maui dolphins and the marine reserve off the west coast of the North Island and decried this government because of permits that they have granted that touches on some of these areas. We know, sir, that over the last 40 years of exploration offshore that there has been no detrimental effect on the Maui population. In fact, sir, it's a population that many people do have concern about because, as she said, there are 55 adult members of that species who are of breeding age. Sir, but as science has shown us, the greatest threat to the Maui dolphins is not, in fact, human intervention and exploration offshore by the oil industry. At Massey University, where they do biopsies of beach cast Maui dolphins, or what they consider to be Maui dolphins, they've discovered that, especially on the west coast of the North Island, that every one that they have found beach cast has been infected with toxoplasmosis. And of those that are infected of that, which is a parasite, just under half suffered death because of that. It is a parasite that affects the Maui dolphin, and it is something which comes off the water, the streams that come off the land, that affects them in a very detrimental way. And in fact, what they've also discovered is that the dolphins they have had biopsies on are actually Hector's dolphins and not Maui's. So there is some research and fact around this on their mortality, and suffice to say that it's not actually petroleum exploration that is the great threat to this species. And of course, let's keep to the science, because we also know that Labor in their election conservation manifesto made a determination that they would not allow any drilling to occur in a marine reserve. And we know that that was speaking specifically of the west coast, or the west coast of the North Island, and in a particular area where the Pohokura field is. And I'm sure that by now they would understand that in order to develop that field, which is producing 40% of New Zealand's domestic gas supply, in order for that field to continue, they would have to, at some point in time, go into a second tranche of exploration and drilling to get what's called the side pockets of that field to keep producing. And so this is absolutely critical to the New Zealand economy. Gas is one of the best hydrocarbon fuels. It's 3 times better than coal in terms of its carbon footprint, in terms of its reduction of impact. It's considered to be a transition fuel. So when the Maui pipeline sprung a leak in 2010, over 1 week of repairs while that pipeline was shut, it cost the New Zealand economy $200 million and agriculture $40 million as part of that cost. So we do understand that gas is very important for the New Zealand economy. It fuels industry as well as fueling homes. And so we understand the issues around the environment, and we do have policies that protect it, but at the same time I believe we have responsible attitude towards using our resources and our reserves. And I think that this is why the general public have confidence in this government. We hold those things in balance. We don't say we're going to go and explore the oil fields and the gas fields of New Zealand and produce at the expense of the environment. In fact, you will find that the explorers, as well as the fishermen, are all environmentalists. They all care for the environment. They're very protective and very careful, and they have the highest health and safety records, perhaps of any industry that operates in New Zealand, because they know, sir, about the issues around social licence. And so all of that to say that I believe that this government and the leadership of John Key understands the complexities of these issues and handles them for the betterment and the progress and the building of the economy of New Zealand in such a way that we do not compromise on our environment. You'd have to say in the Taranaki region, the region that has petroleum exploration in it, that it's one of the pristine environments as well, that tourism goes hand in hand, that it is a great environment where people come and enjoy. And so we demonstrate that we do it very, very well. So, and I just want to say that that being the reason why I believe that we have had a Prime Minister, a leader of our party. In fact, we've only had one leader in our party over the last 8 years, whereas the opposition have had 5 over the last 8 years. And so I think that sort of solidarity, that sort of consistency, and that sort of confidence, not only by the public who have voted in National for now 3 consecutive terms, but a caucus who stands solidly behind him, demonstrates, sir, that we know where we're going. Sir, we know where we're going. We have a vision. We have a vision. We have a vision, sir. We have a purpose. We have a plan. And sir, we're making great progress along that. We have a cabinet stacked with experience, talent, energy. We have 14 talented new MPs. Unlike this lot, you know, who struggle to find 1 or 2 new MPs, but find 5 new leaders over that same period of time. We have rejuvenation, we have new ideas, fresh energy, great representation, sir, in our country. We have effective relationships with our confidence and supply partners over the last 6 years, ACT, United Future, and the Maori Party. And wherever I go, people talk very positively about our relationship, particularly with the Maori Party. And I think, sir, what it demonstrates is the breadth of our ability to relate to New Zealanders. In fact, you know, you go around New Zealand and they always talk about the Prime Minister as somebody who's very approachable, the sort of person you could speak to in a pub, yet at the same time is very comfortable talking to world leaders. So approachable. And I think that's where people feel this government is successful, is that we are connected to them. We hear them, sir, and we translate their aspirations into policies. And sir, we have seen some tremendous advantages as we have been in government. The economy growing, we've all heard those figures. Last year, look at inflation and see wage growth in comparison, 3 times higher than inflation. So that's a great indication that this economy is strong, it's growing, and it's offering a future to New Zealanders. So we have 80,000 people employed, more employed than a year ago, 217,000 people employed more than 5 years ago. So, you know, they sort of squawk and bark from the other side of the house. But sir, I think that what we are seeing is that New Zealand is becoming one of the most attractive places on this planet to live. And so it's a great place for us to enjoy. But let's be sure, sir, that all of this happens because of a good plan, a strong leadership, stable government, and a policy set that is consistent with the aspirations of New Zealanders. We're not lurching one way or the other way. We're making steady progress, and so I'm very happy to support the Prime Minister's statement and where we're going as a country.
The next call is a Labour call and a split call. I call Chris Farr.